My motivation behind my piece was finding who I truly was about a year ago. Before, I kind of just fit in with everyone. I was scared to stand out, but now I don't really care. I'm going to express myself, and I don't care if I stand out. Which brings me to my quote: "Why fit in when you're born to stand out?" See, why would I fit in when I was born to stand out? Why would I take your road when I had my own route? See, I blended in with the crowd my whole life, where my words were as sharp as a dull knife. Learning who I am was like earning my voice. Now I can rejoice in this choice to be me and not you. I'm not focused on the artificial phase I went through. But can you question if a mirror is broken because it reflected a fractured you? See, that was my cue. That was my clue. That who I was wasn't true. So I changed myself from the inside out, not caring about whether I did stand out. The old me is dead. The old me, I dread. Which, you know what? I like this new me instead. Even though I still have questions to answer ahead. One being the stress. This overwhelming stress. What does it take to eliminate this stress? The stress that only brings out the worst, never the best. Why do I seem the most stressed out of the rest? To where my heart, it feels like it's beating out my chest. I'm scared, man. I'm nervous. I'm not indestructible, like a turbot, tumbling constantly here and there. Why can't life just be fair? See, life is never choosing the truth, only the day. And it's staring to see how much I can bear, or I just don't care. But all of this stress was my decision. It came from my vision to stand out, from my vision to shout, but I am truly about it. I don't care anymore if you judge me, because everything you say is no more than a label upon me. So, with that, I only got one last question. What do you guys see? I see someone who's no more a mirror than me. Thank you.
Our minds remain blind to the mirror, mirror retaliation. It's because, or is it because we live in such a crumbling nation? Which is why we will be titled the failed generation. We live in a world where we try to copy everything we've heard, every single word. These days, they're humping my nerves. Skirt! Swerve. Covering my tracks, because originality is what I like. Yeah, I'm part of the problema. I'm part of this dilemma. Just because 2 Chainz yelled, I'm different, don't make you any different from the others. Saggy pants, snapback rocking, weed smoking, homophobic next to you. How about we think about the world around us and maybe, just maybe, we can be different. The mirror you looked in this morning, is that you? Is reflecting so many phases, so many false yous. Chop, chop, the real you's cut up, slip, slash. Your identity's been smashed with cash and clothes, from head to nose, from nose to toes. Might as well say what used to be you is your shadow. No phase, no originality, but the new you is immortality. Morals ain't nothing to the common day goon, from your Aeropostale shirts to your Versace perfume. Spending money on BS we don't need. Thinks life's all fun, games, and weed. We dream for a speck of fame, but if you're not you, you're not spawning in this game. Look, my friends, just be yourself. Don't trade you in for people or wealth. I mean, today you're you, and you always will be. That's truer than true. No one is more youer than you. Thank you.
Nothing will compare from the memories from years ago, in places I'll probably never find again, feelings I'll never really experience again. Euphoria. Can you feel it? Have you felt that? Can you reach back and find a time when your smile was bright and your soul was light as a feather? Because if I think long enough, it almost feels like I'm there again. A time I actually enjoyed the sun because it warmed my body through and through, keeping me at peace just sitting in a meadow. It seems unreal. To each their own, but for me it was an age of pretend. My schedule filled with medieval battles and backyards with tangled bushes where I could hide in, tall trees I could climb on. Each kingdom unique, from magical forests housing dragons, goblins, and fairies, to busy stone towns with fair maidens who could cook, clean, and mother a child, that could forge beautiful weapons and kick your butt with them too. Proud warriors who would spend their days in battles counting the minutes until they could just go home. Stories where I was assigned every role I chose, who did what, when, and where, and no one died. Just sort of disappeared for a while. Some kingdoms were borrowed, like Kokiri Forest, where my brother would jump in, we'd argue over the role of Link and eventually save Hyrule, or Mushroom Kingdom, where we'd be the Mario Brothers for a day with black marker mustaches and overalls. Yeah, I probably played too many video games, but it's crazy, because it wasn't long ago, 6, 7 years, I don't know, I'm still young. Dysphoric is when I look at my kingdoms now, they're not the same, lands whitewashed by life. Suddenly my stories had death, all creatures were to be feared and people were cruel. My everyday endeavors reflected back and tinted the colors black. My characters hid in chasms of hate and greed, jealousy and fear. They weren't the same, their faces had changed and were no longer mine. Tainted because I was placed in a world ruled by pain and animosity. Nothing is truly happy anymore, so I stopped. I can't remember the exact day, but I stopped believing in my kingdoms. I was forced to look at the right end of the telescope, but the right end was not fair. I was forced to step foot in battles of reality where I was called a freak for the things I loved, where I was used over and over again by friends, where I was afraid to speak because I couldn't control the thoughts, actions, and words of these characters, these people that roam my unfortunate reality. I couldn't conjure magical beings to defeat my enemies. I couldn't make impermeable weapons of moonstone and dragon scale. I couldn't drink potions that showed me the way or made me strong. I no longer felt brave. I no longer felt in control. But yet I still moved. Art kept me moving, but I didn't realize its impact till someone looked at mine and said, I understand. Music kept me grooving, not losing the beats, pitter-patter, muffled my chatter in my head, pointing me in the right direction. I just want to feel free again. If you're released from the chains of a society that likes to judge. Judging. I could never wrap my head around the concept of judging anyone until late middle school. Or just to fit in, I tried to be cool and laugh at things I didn't even understand, only for it to be backlash on me. I was thrown in a mindset that some were lower than me and my friends, that if you wore skirts and tank tops and flirted and dated, you were a slut, and if you were shy to yourself but brilliant, you were a prude. These weren't friends. They were kids just as lost as me. I was conflicted. One day I met a girl who accepted everyone for who they were, who wasn't afraid to be themselves, who loved me for the me I really was, for that insane, imaginative child I had locked inside. It's not okay to hate, it's not okay to judge. Don't close yourself to the world, because we're all just souls of happy children trapped in the shells of our growing bodies. Don't be afraid to be you, don't be afraid to share your beauty. So I ask you, no, I tell you to reach back, find one. Just one memory that brought you happiness and you hold on to it. Don't you dare let go, because I found bits and pieces of myself, but I'm still searching to put it all back together, and so will you. What keeps me moving? Just the thought. Just the thought that one day I'll meet someone just as lost as me, tell them how beautiful they are, inspire them, and change their life. That I'll be able to stand up and really be myself. That I won't be afraid to speak, dress, and act as who I am, and I'll be able to create something one day that will cause you to feel emotion that you haven't felt in years and force you to move. Did you reach back far enough? Have you found it? We'll keep it close to your heart and locked in your mind, because one day you'll realize that all the warriors, princesses, heroes, and mythical beings you dreamed of, everything that gave you life in the form of a smile and a warm feeling, were always just pieces of the future you. Euphoria.
The Dr. Seuss quote that I picked for my piece is, to be number one, you have to be odd. And my poem, my piece, is entitled Odd. I was 8 when I was enrolled in my first real school. I was 8 when I realized being homeschooled, even though you might be ahead of the brain game, didn't give you the smarts for the street game. Yeah, I knew my ABCs. I could recite my 1, 2, 3s. I had Spider-Man on my backpack, and my socks went all the way up to my knees. I had my lunch, my milk and my chocolate chip cookies. My uniform was starch stiff, my pleats in perfect place. I thought I was prepared for what in this new place I would face, but I didn't know how to act. Everything I did was wrong, but give me a break. Jeez, I'm just 8. I was 8 when I thought I got my first real friend. And when we shared the Crayola crayons that my mom had packed in my pencil case like sardines in a can, I realized we were two different people. She colors inside the lines, and I color the space that the lines forgot to include. Excuse the way I may shower on you when I talk, because I paint with my tongue, and when I spit, I'm just dipping my brush. When I go back and relate on my ways when I was just 8, trying so hard to get someone to pretend to like me, in the end, being alone was something I would have to get used to. Because what I didn't realize back then is that the coolest kid in the room often didn't have any friends. Excuse the way I may stop down the hall, a wide open space alone. If a girl falls for a guy that said he loved her and lied, does she still make a sound that answers in my footsteps? Think about that for a while. Too many people color inside the lines and criticize me for not doing the same. Just put a little faith in me, because honestly, I'm just coloring in a picture only I can see. Not imaginary, this is not pretend. We all write our own stories and illustrate them with a different color pen. I imagine his stories that came from his 8-year-old brain, some people shunned. And I imagine they said to him that to win, you have to be number one. People will have a problem with you building this childhood facade. And I imagine him saying to them, well, to be number one, you have to be off.